Hello again and welcome to This Week in Texas. We begin this week with a conversation with Houston Mayor John Whitmire. Mayor, thanks for being with us.
I'm pleased to be here.
Thanks. Well, you're coming up on 1 year on the job. What are the highlights?
Highlights are the ability to bring people together and restore the Houstonians' confidence in city government. Morale's high across the city. It's high at City Hall. And it's very gratifying to see that people respond to hard work and problem solving. So I'm enjoying my work. I look forward each day of going to work, but it's challenging. It's tough. Many of the challenges I knew when I was running. It's one reason Houstonians asked me to leave the Senate, to come back and run for mayor. We had issues, and I'm here to fix Houston, and we've made great progress this first year.
Does the city have any money?
City does have money. Certainly we're doing an Ernst & Young report right now to see how we spend it. Just the first preliminary report was 40% of the Houston supervisors at City Hall supervise 3 or fewer people, and that's just the beginning. So yes, we, as I announced back in March, we're broke. We're broke because we did the last 2 budget cycles with one-time federal funding, and then said we had a surplus. No, I inherited $160 million shortfall, and now it's $240 with raises and the fire settlement. But we know what our challenge is. We're collaborating with the state, the county. Metro's helping us with some of our expenses. So, you know, we're all in this together, and we're going to run a very efficient city government.
With regard to infrastructure, there are some projects that are already funded, they're ready to go, but they're paused. When might they be unpaused?
When we've done our due diligence to make sure we're not wasting money and that they really are being used for the intended purpose. You know, some of the expenditures already budgeted were for 10-foot sidewalks. 10-foot sidewalks. While you go to Denver Harbor, no sidewalks. So it's an equity issue as well to try to see that we're properly spending our funds across the city and providing for all of our communities. You know, I don't want the rich to get richer and the poor to get poorer. It's just wrong. I inherited that system, but we're correcting it. We're looking at each and every project to make sure that it serves the stated purpose. We need our mobility, we need our walkability, we need pedestrian crosswalks, we need just, you know, issues that improve quality of life. Quality of life issues is what we're really trying to address with all of our expenditures, and of course public safety. I do not want to do 10-foot sidewalks when we don't have adequate police patrol in that same neighborhood. Mostly done by the TERS. We're trying to review and make sure the TERS spend our money wisely.
So when might we expect some of these projects that are ready to go and may have state funding or federal funding? When can they be?
Public Works is working diligently to get them done. We want the projects as bad as anyone, but there was a lot of waste, duplication, and corruption in some instances when I got to City Hall.
So let me ask you this.
We're not going to raise money, additional revenue, until we take care of waste, duplication, and corruption.
By saying raising?
We got TERS under indictments, the Midtown TERS management district. So I'm just simply saying is no one's delaying it just for the sake of delaying it. There's a good government purpose in delaying and doing due diligence before you spend the taxpayers' money.
So when you talk about raising more revenue, meaning raising taxes, essentially?
Not necessarily raising taxes. You know, I've already had the opportunity to raise taxes since I've been down there for debris pickup. I was asked by some council members to please raise taxes for debris pickup. I'm not going to ask Houstonians for additional revenue until I can tell them sometime in the spring or next fall I've done everything I can to be cost effective, to protect your tax dollar. Then we will go forward and state our needed revenue, and it'll be for public safety and for streets primarily. We got money from the state, and we got money from Metro, and the county is sharing their resources. I've got 3 commissioners that are working hand in hand with me to redo their precincts inside the city of Houston. Ramsey is sharing the costs of remodeling some of his facilities 50-50 with the city of Houston. Unheard of, the collaboration with the county, the city, and even the federal government.
How is the job different, though, than you might have expected it to be? Spending as long as you did in the state legislature, being a Senate, one of many voices.
Sure.
And in the minority party, where you didn't necessarily have a lot of power, to being the person.
Wait a minute.
I know you were.
I didn't have power, and I was the chairman of a criminal justice committee.
But you weren't in charge of the agenda, like you didn't.
Of course, no legislators in charge of the
But you are in the city, so that's why I'm asking, what's different?
It is a nonstop job. That's the difference. The legislative job, by description, is part-time. You have to have other jobs. We only meet every other year for 140 days. We do not keep near the pace. The first 6 weeks of the session is just getting organized. From day one, the night of January 1, I was busy helping manage the city, and it has gone nonstop around the clock, quite frankly. The only challenge I have is to be more patient, slow down, take care of myself so I can take care of others, but it is a nonstop job. And most of the decisions I make are big decisions. Certainly with our natural disasters, the second week I was there, we had the freeze, then we had the Kingwood floods, then the 2 hurricanes. Then you've got man-made challenges, the suspended criminal justice cases at the police department. So, you know, it's a major responsibility. That's where experience comes in. That's where contacts and collaboration comes in. I can pick up the phone and get us additional police officers during the storm because we could not protect all the communities that were without power. We got on the phone and talked to Austin, the emergency center for the state of Texas. We got 100 additional officers from around the state that came to Houston and spent the duration of the storm. We were short of ambulances. The ambulances were backed up at the med center because they were not releasing anyone from having an operation. They couldn't go home without power. So the ambulances were backed up in the parking lot. We got on the phone, I got on the phone and called Austin, got 25 ambulances here. It's paying off for Houston, my experience, contacts, and commitment to good government.
Mayor Whitmire, appreciate it. We'll be back with more with the mayor in just a moment. Welcome back to our conversation with Houston Mayor John Whitmire. Now we want to talk about crime. Certainly one of the things you ran on, important to your administration. During your campaign and in your inauguration, you made it clear you want more police officers here in Houston. According to the latest HPD monthly summary report, there were 5,195 sworn HPD officers. That's only 20 more than a year ago. What more do you need to do?
We're getting the uniformed officers from behind the desk. Chief Diaz is the best police chief in the United States for motivating people to get out and patrol, actually foot patrol downtown. We're collaborating with other agencies. Last weekend, doing a surge of the Washington corridor, we had the DPS, we had Metro, we had the Sheriff's Office. So we have a force multiplier, but we are very actively recruiting, and the goal is to continue. And we've got to become more competitive with other agencies for pay, but we're headed in the right direction. It's not just a numerical number that you mentioned, it's what you do with what you have. So the policemen are motivated. They want to work for John Whitmire. They know I back them. If they follow the law, follow their training, I will back them. And we're getting more production out of our police.
So you're saying
we have a new team in place. The Diaz has put a new management of assistant chiefs in place. I mean, things are moving forward. Now, do we have work to do? Of course. Public safety is my highest priority, and we're going to continue to collaborate. We got a new director of the DPS, so we're already getting additional resources and traffic enforcement in our community from the DPS. The constables want to work with us, so it's not just HPD numbers. That's, you know, political talk by some of my detractors. You'll see DPS and HPD writing tickets. We got to do more traffic enforcement. We got to resolve the case, and we got to ask the public to do more. Like I went to the shooting, unfortunately, Sunday morning at 2, the deaths of 2 16-year-olds because they were allowed to go to an underage party at 2 and 3 in the morning. We've got to ask everyone to be responsible, keep their eyes and ears open, report it, but we're going to be transparent with the public. We're not going to tell the public you're okay, as previously people would say, one safe Houston. We never had a one safe Houston. We're worried about car break-ins. We're worried about response time. Unreported crimes. We have significant criminal activity that never gets reported.
So let's talk about some more numbers, which I know you love. HPD, their data says that crime is down overall in the city.
Sure.
But there are parts of the city where it is up, east and northeast Houston. Even in Kingwood, it's up. How do you attack those areas where crime is up in the same way that you've sort of targeted some other areas where crime is now down?
Everything I said a moment ago, collaboration, leadership in the chief's office. Chief Diaz, years of a Texas Ranger. I knew him back then. He was with HPD, planted with HPD for 6 years. He knows the community, he knows the other officers. So yes, we monitor that very carefully, and it's an equity issue. We go where the problems are, and quite frankly, Houston is a hot spot. You know, I've had a couple of council members say, let's just go after the hot spots. I consider all of Houston a challenge to provide the most safest community we can. And we're bringing in additional resources as we increase our numbers. We need equipment. We need the DPS helicopters to end some of these dangerous chases. We need forensics for the DPS. So we're really partnering with the other agencies. We want the county, quite frankly, to do a better job in clearing some of these cases. HPD officers are taking folks to intake. They get PR bonds out the next day. Some of them have previous violent criminal records. We want to hold the people we arrest accountable and get them to court. Another challenge. I've got homicide officers that tell me that they need a warrant to go after evidence, and they'll sit in an open court, active judge for up to 2 hours. We're all in this together, and the criminal justice system is that, a system. Any part of it's broken, it messes up all of our activities.
So what do we expect in year 2 then from your administration to keep pushing public safety?
More of the same. We're going to do recruiting. We're going to hold people accountable. We're going to be very transparent. And I got the best chief in America. And we're going to deal with a contract for the police officers. Their motivation is going to continue. They're inspired. They want to work for John Whitmire. It didn't get this way overnight. And, you know, I don't play games with public safety. I've been robbed at gunpoint, begged for my life. I know what it's like to pull in a dark garage and have to confront someone putting a gun in your face. I don't want that to happen to anyone. That was my motivation in the legislature. It was a motivation to come home to help fix Houston. Public safety, infrastructure, and get to the streets and drainage.
All right, so is 3 years enough to do it, or will you run again?
It's a pretty big mess, but we're making great strides. I'm going to do the best I can on a daily basis, but it'll probably take 8 years to complete the mission. But,
so you're already looking forward?
No, I go to work to fix problems on a daily basis. I'm going to leave here and go back to work. I work long hours, long hours. The only thing I need to do is realize it didn't get like this overnight, and I won't fix it overnight. But we got a plan to help finance the city, be responsive with public safety, infrastructure, and work with other levels of government. You can't imagine the benefit of being able to pick up the phone during a storm and talk to the county and get our commissioners to help us with debris pickup. And by the way, we're going to double down on debris pickup. As of this morning, I asked for another sweep to pick up trash, heavy trash, and debris in our neighborhood. So I'm just telling you, there's a lot to do, and only the Lord knows how long it's going to take.
Mayor John Whitmire, thanks so much for your time.